Brother, thank you for joining me on Second Acts, man. This is a show that's about people starting over, man, and getting back on track. And our audience, our direct, people we got this for, people behind the walls. Now, granted, this is for people all over the world. You know what I'm saying? And you definitely are an international person, man.
Right.
Since the day I met you, I appreciated you. But this is a shout out, man, to all my brothers and sisters across this country who are locked down. This is definitely, man, a reach out, man, and a big up to the people who are locked away and in their minds thinking that they ain't gonna have a brighter day or something else coming.
Right.
Now, the average person is gonna think that's somebody in prison and an institution. There's a lot of people at work right now who are locked in a mind frame. There's a lot of people in relationships right now that are locked in mind frames. There's some rich people sitting in CEO desks that are locked in prison in their own mind.
Right.
So we want to free everybody. See, unlike other folks, you know what I'm saying, being on the bottom, we want to free everybody.
Right.
We ain't trying to flip the script and put somebody else in prison.
Right.
So we want to free the minds of everybody listening, regardless where you are and what your prison cell look like. If it's a mansion or it's an 8x10, we want you to be free of your prison cell.
Right.
And the mindset that didn't hold you in that cell.
Right.
So Second Acts, it's about actually getting off the ground and starting over. So I want to introduce you, I'm saying, as the father and the birthing of, I'm saying, Black Lives Matter. And I definitely want to acknowledge you as Michael Brown Sr., the father of the young man who died in Ferguson. I'm saying, is no, I mean, we can say he's murdered. In my opinion, he was murdered. I'm saying we say died, but it's not like to try to like, we don't dance lines up in here. I'm saying young man who was murdered in Ferguson, Missouri. And from that day, the entire world has been different.
Well, my name is Michael Brown Sr. I'm the father of Michael Brown Jr. Mike has 6, 7 other siblings. You know, he had just had a baby sister before he was killed. My kid was 1 year old when he got killed. We're murdered. He has a sister named Deja. He has another sister named Trinita. He has another sister named Nunu. Got 3 brothers, you know, Tristan, Tiandrew, and Tyler. And the baby, Michael, which is the baby sister that I was talking about in the beginning. Yeah, he came from a family, you know, a loving family. You know, we were all together in the time. A little bit before he was murdered, we had lost the house in a fire. He was there. 8 days after that, he had just graduated from high school. Big accomplishment. That day, he told me the world was going to know his name. You know,
He wanted
to be a rapper. He wanted to be a rapper. He said he was going to be bigger than Lil Wayne. The world was going to know his name.
So tell me about, that had to be a conversation.
Oh, yeah, big
So
conversation.
break down the conversation for me.
So he graduated. We went to his Chinese place to have something to eat after he accomplished his graduation. We sitting down at the table. He like, Dad, hey, F college, I'm going to be a rapper. I'm like, dude, you're not going to be no rapper. You going to school. He like, you just want to kill all my dreams. I'm like, I ain't trying to kill your dreams. Make that a hobby. But you going to school. I explained to him why I said what I said, because he didn't understand, like, it's my choice. I graduated. I did what you said do.
You did.
I did what you said do. I graduated. So now it's my time. No, man.
He walked the stage. No. He walked the stage.
He did his thing.
I never walked the stage.
Hey.
Did you walk the stage?
No, I didn't. That's why it was so big for me.
Oh.
I graduated through him.
So I'm about to graduate. I'm waiting for 2 more years so I can graduate through my son. I didn't walk the stage.
Right. I got to end up getting my GED, but
I got my GED too.
But
Me too.
I didn't walk the stage.
Your son walks the stage. You're like, wow. I can't wait for my son to walk the stage. My son played Pop Warner football. I never got a chance to do that either. So I'm living through my son. You're living through your son.
Right.
And he said, of course you're not trying to throw college out the window because we've been pre-programmed that college is everything.
Right.
So you just got father, son, you ain't getting it, dad conversation. Then you do the breakdown later.
Yeah.
Now was the 13th, and then you go home.
Yeah.
Then you got a call.
Yeah. That morning I went to work. I got off early. I was at the house helping fold clothes. And Leslie's mother, which is Mike's grandmother, called the phone. And she said, She asked Cal, was I in? Cal gave me the phone. She said, Mike is laying in the middle of the street, full of puddle of blood. Police just killed him. So I turned to the family.
Hold on.
Yeah.
No, you can't go fast after that.
All right.
You get a call from your mother.
No.
From
Mike's grandmother.
His mother's mother.
Mother's mother.
His mother's mom.
Uh-huh.
His grandmother calls you and says, your son is in the street, murdered.
Yes.
Is that, I mean, I can't fathom that.
Hey.
I'm like, I would say to people, pick up your phone, look at your phone. Now imagine somebody calling you and telling you your child's not just dead, but murdered and in the street.
Right.
I couldn't believe that. I mean, if you called me right now, told me my son was dead, I wouldn't believe you.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't want to believe you.
Right. I went through that phase too. Until it became real when I got there.
When did it become real?
As soon as we pulled up, leaving the house. I skipped. Leaving the house, I say, police just killed my son. So at that point, I went into some type of tunnel. I don't even remember the ride. I don't even remember getting there. I remember getting out the car. I remember walking up towards the scene. I remember seeing a shoe in the street, which was flip-flop. I had bought him some flip-flops. We had the same matching hat because I had gotten married earlier that year. We had the same hat in my wedding pictures. So I seen the hats in the street. I seen the flip-flop. And after that, I didn't see what the world seen him face open on the street. When I got there, he was covered up. So I was still in disbelief because I'm not seeing him physically. But I see things that remind me of what his wear is, what he wears,
right.
You know. So
that's first hour.
Yeah, that's first hour.
So first hour you come up, you see his stuff that you know is his. You see him, even though you want to be disbelief, even though fact is on deck.
Yes.
So it's over?
No, it's not over. Asking questions from authorities, dogs being sicked in our face, AKs pointing in our face, all the disrespect.
Why were they pointing AK at you?
Well, the thing about it was they was trying to control crowd control. So it was a scare tactic. It was a scare tactic.
So why did crowd control?
Crowd control.
Because there's a group of people outside now.
There's hundreds of people out there.
So that's hour one. What happened after that?
Hour two. We'll talk about hour two.
What happened in hour two?
Hour two, 98-degree weather, still asking questions, being disrespected by the police. One officer, his name was Officer Kane, he was about to retire. He walked up to the family, he said, I'm white and this ain't right. He said, do you guys want some water? We accept the water. He said, well, I'm about to retire, but y'all guys need to get a good lawyer on this because they're trying to cover this up.
So that's hour two.
That was hour two.
So so he's in the ambulance and going to the hospital?
No. Mike was still on the ground.
What do you mean?
Hour two. He was still on the ground.
So you pull up, and 60 minutes later, he's still on the sidewalk.
He's still in the middle of the street.
Middle of the street.
Yes.
With a sheet on.
Yes.
So what happens in hour two?
Well, hour two, it's a conversation with the officer, and that's the day I met Anthony Shahid, the guy that started Hands Up Don't Shoot. He was having a conversation with the police for us because they wouldn't talk to the family for some apparent reason. He was able to get a little conversation out of them to see what the process was and why is Mike still out here on this ground.
Okay, so what happened next?
Well, it was almost like a waiting game, brother. We out there, we got the questions, ain't nobody answering.
So it ends at hour two?
No, it ends at hour four.
I'm lost.
So Mike was out there in the middle of the street for 4.5 hours.
4.5 hours.
4.5 hours.
And did they ever tell you, I can't think of a reason for someone to be in the streets for 4.5 hours.
Well, they say they couldn't get through with the coroner. So what they did was they came through with a black little small SUV truck, lift him up, and put him in there. Gave us a card and said, get him an hour and a half, give him a call. We could come identify the body. So we've been out here 4.5 hours, and y'all wouldn't even let us even go and see or touch or, identify then. But they caught themselves going through, I guess, a process of covering up. So,
Okay, so I'm trying to understand. 4.5 hours.
yes, sir.
You're on the scene.
Yes.
4.5 hours.
98-degree weather.
98-degree weather.
Yes.
Dead of August.
Yes.
Your son is physically in the street,
Yes.
and nobody's thinking we should move him. Now, I personally believe there's been a lot of, unfortunately, black people killed by police.
Yes.
And they say, well, what was different about Ferguson?
Mm-hmm.
I believe the fact that they left your son in the street for 4.5 hours, that the entire neighborhood, his parents, the people he grew up with, everybody had this. It's one thing if you kill somebody, take him away, then it's like, okay, he's dead, but he's gone.
Right.
But for everybody in the neighborhood to have to look at their loved one
Right.
for 4.5 hours,
Right.
that's traumatizing.
That's another thing, Dre. The world watched that too. It's all over the internet.
Yeah, the streaming. But I mean,
Yeah.
the people
But
who
the
were
people-
sitting there
yeah.
for 4.5 hours are like, we watched George Floyd last year for 4+ minutes,
Right.
and the world was shocked.
Right.
They streamed that for 4.5 hours,
Yes.
and that creates trauma,
Yes.
not just in you, the family, but all watching.
Yes.
That's trauma.
Yes.
So they're wondering why the world erupted.
Right.
So what's the next day like?
Well, next day was everyone was out, media was everywhere. People wanted to talk to the family. A lot of fundraiser, and we still trying to get questions answered.
Right.
No one want to answer our questions, brother. So we had to eventually get a legal team.
But I mean,
know.
for the next 15 months, I know for a fact, because I watched the protest. I ain't gonna call them riots. I watched people be angry. You know what I'm saying? You can call it what you want. It was people in the streets for 15 months
Right.
on behalf of your family.
Right.
And behalf of families.
Right.
Because he was a symbol of all.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And for 15 months, people quit their jobs.
Yeah.
And just protested 24 hours.
A lot of people lost their jobs.
This was like, because when I finally came, it was like, people were like, we're out here. We out here. This has got to stop, and we out here.
Was you was out there when the National Guard was there, right?
No.
Yeah. It was curfew and everything, rubber bullets, everything flying. So.
So now they shooting. Now they back shooting again.
Right, back shooting.
So 15 months. What's your state of mind for 15 months?
Angry, revenge, shut down. Couldn't even fathom what was trying to process. Steady going through process. Why? What's going on? Mike, talk to me. Send me a sign. What's going on, son? Talk to me. I need you right now. What do I need to do? Because can't nobody else help me.
So I remember the day when the no verdict came down.
Yeah. Yeah.
For everybody has that concept of,
Yeah.
it's like almost flashing back to the Rodney King, the not guilty.
Yeah.
How can it be a not guilty?
Right.
They did this on film.
Right.
And the entire police force got a not guilty on Rodney King.
Right. Right.
The gentleman involved in his shooting got no process.
Right.
So what is it? I mean, so you're angry. So as it goes times 100 now? Forget 10.
Yeah, it was
you
past
times
that.
100?
Yeah, past that. After indictment, after prosecutor at the time said, was the judge, jury, and the prosecutor, which he was. After he made his statement, first thing, vest and AK, right? Luckily, in the process of that, wife, sister, people that was there that loved me. Like, Mike, you can't do that.
I actually saw a movie. I mean, was it white skin, black skin? There's this movie that just came out where the son is killed by a cop, then the guy straps up and runs up in the police station and just takes the thing hostage and they hold like a trial. So you vest an AK.
Yeah.
You done.
Yes. Yes. I was ready to crash it all out, Dre.
But that's 15 months of hold on, hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
Justice is coming.
Yeah. Be patient. Don't say this, Mike. Watch what you say in interviews, Mike. It might hurt the case. Holding all this anger and what I want to say in. Now it's ready to be released.
So I know that was December when they had the no verdict.
November.
They called me in, I think it was late December. That's where you got a chance to sit down with them and start building relationships.
Right.
And I said, then we started talking. I said, I got to know you. And angry father, your son was murdered.
Right.
You got no justice.
Right.
You got shot with rubber bullets.
Right.
You made the stand down. But in that, I see the anger in you, but I see the leader in you.
Yeah.
And I said to you, I said, bro, the angry dad thing, you cornered the market.
Yeah.
I believe your position, your greatest strength, if you talked on forgiveness.
Right.
You looked at me like I was crazy.
Yeah, you did. You did.
You looked at me like I was stone crazy.
Right.
Like if you was, where that AK at?
Right.
But not real talk.
Right.
I watched Nelson Mandela and Desmond Tutu do the forgiveness platform in South Africa after all the apartheid and the murders. I was like, no. I didn't see it. I didn't get it. I didn't believe in it. I was like, these dudes have lost their mind. How you gonna let all these people walk free? Then I started studying. Forgiveness wasn't about them. It was about progression and about us.
Right.
So I actually took that from there, and I went through the disbelief space. So I brought it to you, and it took you a while.
Yeah, it took me a while.
So what did you do with that?
Well, I had a conversation with my son, a spiritual conversation. It's like, man, I've been angry for all this time.
Hold on. You had a conversation with what son?
With Mike Brown Jr.
So you went and prayed and had a conversation with your son
I
about
had
it.
a conversation with my boy.
And what did you say to him? This crazy man wants me to be a forgiveness coach?
I've been angry. I've been angry about the situation all this time, blaming myself. I need an outlet. What you think? And I think I got that talk about, you need to let go, do what you need to do, because I don't want to see. You gotta fight for me, Dad. You got to keep this fight going. So in a spiritual way, I knew that's what you'd say. I had to keep the fight going. I had to get myself together, contact you.
So
let's move forward.
Mike Jr. gave his sign off on
the forgiveness. Yeah, the forgiveness.
Plan.
Yeah.
Now, how did the people around you take that?
A lot of people didn't take that. They didn't take that well. What you mean you forgiving? You forgiving the guy that killed Mike? Nah. I got to work on myself.
Because you probably come to find out, a lot of people are vested in the anger.
Yeah.
And when you start talking about shifting directions to growth, everybody want to grow. When I wanted to change my life around, I didn't want to be a banger. I didn't want to be in jail. I said I want to go home and go to Harvard.
Right.
People were like, what are you talking about? Go home, go to. You can't go to Harvard.
Right.
You need to stay. They were telling me, stay here with us.
Yeah.
They were comfortable.
And self-destruct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know we worked on that forgiveness piece for a while. So now people know you globally as an angry dad.
Yeah.
We starting over as a forgiveness coach.
Right.
Tell us about that.
Well, I did a trip with you to South Carolina in the prison, Lee Prison. I had the chance to present the program with inmates. A lot of inmates actually helped me write the program too. Gave me an idea which angle I need to go. They had a lot of deep talks.
You sat down with prisoners. I was there. I'm just acting like I could ask a question.
Sat down with prisoners.
You sat down with prisoners.
Yes.
Who were locked down, confined, and oppressed.
Yes.
In South Carolina Department of Corrections, and they helped you create the forgiveness program.
They helped me create the forgiveness program.
A group of oppressed men.
Yes.
Helped you. They also taught you didn't want to be in jail.
They didn't embrace the anger. They wanted to help the anger release out of me.
Got you.
Some people wouldn't believe that, but hey.
So you got people in free world talking about stay angry.
Right.
You got dudes condemned to prison talking about forgiveness is a way.
Forgiveness. Yes.
Shout out to SCDC, AOH.
Yes. Shout out.
In the building.
Yes. So after then, we built a small platform.
I remember we set up a phone call or video. It was COVID. We set up the Zoom call with you and Dave Abel and Securus Technology. So he has control over a prison platform that has content, that has tablets all over the prisons.
Yeah.
And I was like, yo, Dave, there's a guy you need to meet what I'm saying, who can actually bring a different space to these tablets. And y'all had to, how was the call?
Oh, the call was beautiful. I introduced myself. He introduced himself, and we supposed to be getting back on another call, moving forward. Yeah.
Because I just believe that all the people who are locked up right now, and I'm going to go back to locked up in prison, locked up in their homes, locked up in bad jobs, locked up in their minds, need to hear a man who was locked up in his pain.
Yeah.
You were locked inside of anger.
Yes.
You were in a cell.
Yes.
You just locked in that moment of disbelief in a never world, that no world. Like,
Yes.
this isn't happening.
Yes.
So for you to come out of that and to be standing up is amazing.
Yeah.
And I definitely have to salute you, man, for making that transition, because I have to ask myself, if it was the other way around and you came to me, could I be that strong?
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate you. You helped me with that.
Yeah. So I mean,
Everyone needs someone. Even when you want to run from them, this guy's full of it. You know, the whole time you was just trying to help me.
yeah. I get something. I understand that. You know what I'm saying? And what happens is I always tell people, what did I ever ask you for? We've been kicking it for years now.
Yeah.
And you say, okay, you got this guy wants this guy wants. What has Dre ever asked me for?
Right.
Nothing.
Right.
Dre's only made opportunities and situations. And I look at right now, we were watching TV this morning, and a man's going on trial for George Floyd's case.
Right.
And the world's like, okay, he needs to go to jail. And I made the statement, I was talking to a friend, that's not the trial. That's not even the scenario. That's the illusion of what we think it is. Now, on the ground, I say the trial of the century was January 6th.
Right.
This trial for this cop in Minnesota is just a byproduct of bad timing for him. A video camera caught him. Society had that lady not caught him on that camera. The coroner already said it was underlying issues. It wasn't asphyxiation. The cops who standing with him definitely weren't going to say nothing different.
Right.
So minus one lady with a video camera,
Closed case.
closed case.
Right.
January 6th to me was a trial of the century. Because when those folks walked into that Capitol, stormed in, they broke in the door.
Yeah.
All I could say to myself is black folks couldn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
There'd have been a massacre.
Massacre.
Oklahoma would have been like an afterthought. I'm saying Tulsa would have been over. It would have been never mentioned again.
Right.
If that had been black folks, they stormed the building, broke down the door, killed cops on sight, ran the vice president and the entire Congress out the back door, and then they all walk out the building. I watched them go in. I didn't know the cop died. I watched them run people out of the building. They jumping, hanging off banisters, sitting on desks with feet up, chasing cops, and then walked out. Now they got to go look for them. If they'd have been black, we'd have known to find them. Spread her across the floor.
Right.
That, to me, was the trial. That, to me, is America I live in. That says, we're halfway there.
Right.
We're halfway there. So I need you, because, again, I'm not there yet. You're the forgiveness guy. You're in the second, this is second acts. When you're starting over, so when you see stuff now, versus bringing an angry dad to it, you got to bring the forgiveness lens. So how do you add forgiveness to January 6th?
Definitely with my story, I went through a lot, and to overturn everything is where I'm at as far as forgiveness. I had to forgive myself.
How was that process?
Man, that process was hard. Definitely hard. Still going through a few different things, too. I'm not going to say I'm perfectly all the way through with the forgiveness part.
No more AKs invest, though.
Nah, I can put them down. But I had to get myself together. I'm just happy for you helping me with that process and going into that prison and getting it real raw. There's a lot of people in that prison that's asking and begging for forgiveness right now. There's different circumstances. I don't know all the cases, but the few that we have met, they definitely are asking for that. And I'm on the streets, and I was about to lose my mind. And it probably would have been too late to be asking for forgiveness, because I see myself behind those walls with those guys out of going out here off pain that I couldn't control, and just thought, why not catch the cop that killed my son? and blow his head off. You know, what does that get me? That gets me put in a different situation where I'm not going to be able to get out of, because for one, it's a police officer.
Yeah, they don't go both ways.
I'm
gone.
I'm gone. It's no coming back. So
And then your other 6 kids,
they suffer. They
your
suffer.
wife,
she suffer.
and the voice you coulda and shoulda been in the world, is gone.
It's gone. So to have this forgiveness program right here, to elevate, to help other people, including still helping myself in the process, it's going to be a big turnaround. We still working on a few things. Look for it soon.
I know we were talking to the Black Lives Matter organization.
Yeah.
Now, the organization, the global network, whatever they call themselves in 2020, you know what I'm saying, or whatever they called themselves in the beginning, 3 sisters were part of the movement, and they coined the phrase, and they, blacklivesmatter.com, they bought the domain name, and then the whole thing was, it became the call. It became the platform.
Yeah.
And they, just by default, became famous, or in charge. So when anybody dies or anybody wants to give, they go blacklivesmatter.com, and they own the domain name.
Right.
If 3 Chinese dudes would own the domain name, they'd have got $100 million.
Right.
Whoever owned the domain name and had the donate button on it, they won.
Right.
So I know there was disparities in who they are and how they connect. Since I've met you, my story has always been, I want to see the families out front. And that's why I've been trying to organize with you. Families out front.
Right.
So we're hopefully, Black Lives Matter, the organization, will collaborate with you and help put the families out front. How important is it for the families to be out front?
Definitely, we are the ones that's been impacted by terror or loss. You know, we are the voice. We are the voice. Can no one speak for us? We are the voice.
I see a lot of times where people try to jump in front of you and talk for you.
Yeah.
Versus with you.
Right.
I'm saying, so for family members who are out there suffering, or just know something, family members, people in trauma, people locked in prisons trying to break out. So you was trying to, part of the reason you couldn't break out was everybody was talking for you, so you was left to sit with your pain.
Right.
Until you started talking for yourself,
Right.
you was stuck behind what they thought.
Right.
So for the people looking to start their lives over, whether it's from trauma, whether it's from addiction, whether it's from just bad choices, what do you say to them?
I definitely say, once you get a hold of yourself again, start finding something that's positive to do. Reach out to us. You know, you can definitely help me with the forgiveness program.
Question.
We all need it. We
all need help with that. So how do we improve criminal justice?
We got to start policing our own communities. We got to start taking responsibilities for our own faults. It's so many ways I could go with this one, you know, because we always blame. I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna never say, you know.
We blame white folks.
Yeah.
That's what we blame.
Yeah, I'm not gonna never say, you know, they are always wrong, but sometimes we can't provoke certain things, you know, because of the mindset that we are in. You know, we don't like police, so no matter if you're good or bad, we don't like it. You know, so
don't trust.
Don't trust. Right.
Because we got some relatives that are cops, so we don't trust you.
Yeah.
On duty.
Yeah. So
how do we help people not go back to jail? Because this, again,
Yeah.
our primary audience, again, I want you to think of people in cells, people locked in addiction. How do we help people not go back to their first act, which for you was anger, for me was violence? How do we help people not go backwards?
Academy of Hope.
Academy of Hope.
Academy of Hope.
Got you.
No.
Now,
inside program, outside programs.
Yeah, we in the streets.
Yes,
Now, for me, you know, I've been out here 21 years, doing my thing since I came home, and I noticed that I'm gonna pass one day.
Yeah.
And we all gonna die. That's just part of the script.
Yeah.
And I've made a conscious effort. My grandmother, when she had a chance to get a surgery because she had cancer, she opted out of it and said no. And I watched my grandmother plan her own funeral. Had no fear. And it got me thinking, if Nana can do it, what am I waiting on?
Right.
Do I need a hole in my neck to stop
Right.
planning? So my tombstone,
Right.
the first chisel on my tombstone is gonna say Andre Norman, 1967 to 3050, but it's gonna say Harvard Fellow because I created myself to be a Harvard Fellow.
Right.
Second, it's gonna say Honorable Son. I've done things for my parents that is above and beyond to create Honorable Son. I'm working on the rest of the stuff.
Right.
What are they gonna chisel in your stone?
Definitely stand up, speak out.
When you start thinking about what's going to be on your stone, you live with intent. You can right now decide, I'm going to be the forgiveness guy. That's going to go on there. I'm going to be the father of a movement. That's going to go on there. I'm going to be whatever. I mean, literally, I need you to stop thinking your final act. Because when you understand your final act, you live your second act totally different.
Yeah.
So, bruh, I know you came up to the prison, and I appreciate you sharing with the guys, and I'm glad that they were able to help you create the forgiveness program that now you embody. And it's part of our curriculum.
Right.
So the Academy of Hope curriculum has your forgiveness program in it.
Yeah.
What do you do with that outside the wall? When you walk back out in society, you have your program. Who do you serve?
The affected, the community. You know, especially hurting fathers and hurting mothers. You know, definitely hitting them because those are the ones that are suffering right now. You have children that's out here suffering too. So it hits all angles of everyone, but definitely push it towards the families.
Who don't you help?
This applies to everyone
How does it apply to everybody?
because everyone needs forgiveness.
Okay, I'm a white guy from Beverly Hills. I'm a Spanish guy from Texas. I'm a guy in the trailer park down in Tennessee. What does your program do for me?
Well, it depends on what you have going on, what you need help with.
I need forgiveness. I'm mad. I'm mad.
Well,
I'm mad. Period.
Okay. Well, definitely you have to start with yourself first. It always works itself out when you start fresh at yourself first. You know,
So the forgiveness program is how I free me.
how you free yourself.
I need to go talk to my dad. You know what I'm saying? Because my dad had a
You're still angry though, right?
Oh, no,
You got to free yourself.
No, I got that part. I'm saying, I'm thinking of the old dude. You know what I'm saying, my father's 80 years old. He's sitting at home, and he's angry at how he lived his life. And he's angry at he's seeing the results now at 80 of decisions he's made when he was 22. And he's home, he's depressed, and he's angry, and he needs forgiveness. But he doesn't know how to forgive himself for bad. I tell him, hey, Dad, I ain't mad for you. I'm not mad at you for not being the best dad. It's easy to say that,
Right.
but it's different to feel it.
Right.
So, I mean, I would love for you to go talk to my dad about forgiving yourself. You know what I'm saying? And then I know there's some moms. I used to go to suburbs and work with parents. They drinking wine like 40 going south, and the kids turning to be alcoholics and addicts, and they don't understand why. Then they finally realize, oh, they started off in our liquor cabinet.
Right.
I got a lot of suburban moms that need you to come teach forgiveness.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then the classic, the corporate dad
Yeah.
who was never home.
Right.
But I did all this for you kids to have this big house, car, and private school, but you don't know me. Now he's looking up and he's stressed out. Like my dad just wasn't there for whatever his reasons, but a corporate dad was just away working all the time. End result's the same, fatherless child.
Right.
Now they're sitting up, needing forgiveness.
Right.
Does your program go into those spaces?
Yes.
Because it's about the individual, not the circumstance.
It's about the individual and the circumstances. But we have to start with self first. Got to break that wall down first. Then we can move forward.
Got you. We didn't talk about the Michael Brown Jr. Foundation,
Okay. which
which is really the Forgiveness Foundation,
Yeah.
but it's in his name.
Yes.
So
The Michael Brown Jr. Foundation. It has the Chosen Fathers. They have a group called SIPS. I am actually over the Chosen Fathers part. The father is supposed to be this tough guy, supposed to be able to take hits and licks across the head, and not supposed to be affected by none of the hurt. It's built to give us an outlook and give us a part of healing, because they always run to the woman,
Now,
for
question.
support, but the man never gets.
Question. Is the forgiveness program
Yes.
housed there?
Yes. The forgiveness program will be there too. That will be part of the chosen fathers. It'll be part of the SIPs. It'll be part of all the entities that's in there because all of it is based upon father, daughter, families.
Gotcha.
Families.
It's
based upon families.
Easy enough. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Second Acts, a Securus original, coming to you live. You know what I'm saying? In real time with real people. You know what I'm saying? And we just appreciate you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. And I want the world to know not where you started, but where you
Where
are.
you going? Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, bro.
And hopefully people are blessed and better by your sharing. I know I am.
Thanks.
So with that, Second Acts is coming to a close. We will see you soon. Hold it down. And you know what I'm saying, hold your business.